So he
What if speakers? Like Eddie Monster.
Eddie Monster. Okay. He gave me some magic shit. He said just rub it on your face. You know. So the hand that I do have, I got this one like 17, 18. When I went there, the magic shade.
Then they call it only
I
because
raised it on. Yeah, I see it just right here. Got a little one straight. Fine. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, really?
How that would affect yourself on
Now I let my little shadow on my face make it look like a speaker. When it looks rough. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
Years are making a comeback.
Sure. Yeah, it helps a little bit.
I see. Okay, okay.
So what was this issue? Was that just a cut and paste issue? Or was he, as Scott Smith, they took him off? I remember yesterday I brought it up.
Well, I got there with that.
You talking about the landscape?
The records
Second.
in our system or something like that. And these are generated as our programs that we have. And it automatically does an update on the address check. And then it threw the name in as it shows in the system. We didn't touch the system.
Oh.
There you go.
Yeah. How you doing?
Hello. Good, how are you?
I think we got a resolution.
Oh, the first one? Oh, good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Um,
They're either gonna,
how did she get without a mask on?
What she has?
I don't know. Did you guys ever get any kind of a consensus?
She's gonna have to leave.
I hope by this time next year, I try to listen. And I understand. I'm sure what to do.
Who's on the committee? Right.
Because they got to tell I.
No doubt.
So I want them to
You gonna be there?
Mr. Horn.
We all need to go.
The only other way you could, the only other way you could do it is,
We go,
Take nominations from the floor.
well, you can take a nomination from the floor, or you could
St. Lucia.
vote to keep it in office through
January.
January, and then
Yeah, I think that's-
re-election in January.
Just make a
There's
motion.
another way to do it.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, we've never done it. We'd make a motion to create a correctional officers
Hey, so have y'all met the nominating committee? Have y'all talked?
We talked briefly, and then we said we were just gonna set aside 10, 15 minutes. Last meeting, and
Yeah,
then we said.
you built a house. About 6 years.
We've not got any depth on anything.
That seemed like
And she's been
a way to go.
Yeah, Pat
You
was
guys.
just-
every phase of
Yeah.
Hawaiian life.
Now, I know Ms. Dunn is here. She's gonna. Oh, no, she's not. Oh,
Nominated.
Sometimes they're pretty real, sometimes it's like, $1 million.
Yeah, and I guess the other officer too, you guys give us the recommendation from the floor right now, but
Anyway, she loves that place, so hopefully you get out there.
Yeah, that's a real one. We didn't go.
yeah, yeah.
That's the first time.
I think both of those are
We missed it.
potential options.
Sorry, Lance, you get away from this hospital.
Whichever.
Yeah, but I think,
I'm happy just to keep it the same till next meeting.
I think if you put that forward, it's probably good.
Okay.
Don't she have a man? She just has to pull it down.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell at first.
Yeah, no, you couldn't.
been used as
They
ancient,
got a chair at the moment.
and it, when I moved, it kind of like has traces.
Traces.
Yeah.
That chair,
I mean, it's not a 20-year-old camera, but I had it in the box when all this happened, so I couldn't buy it back in March and April.
Nah, it's good.
I need to go ahead and get a new one now.
Mr. Moss, I just want to compliment you for being on time. Yeah, that was the first one here. I just want to compliment you.
Yeah. I'm doing better. Yeah, she is. We just left for ribbon cutting. So she-
They don't even give you ribbon, right?
They don't trust you to sit.
They ain't trust us. And I get that.
Oh, no, he wasn't here, he didn't come to the meeting yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's Zoom yesterday.
What's going on, brother?
Friend of mine opened a coffee shop today. Off of Jewel. Right down by Morning Stuff Fair. Yeah, nice place.
Oh.
Seeds.
Sidewalks, around opening, do I need to respond to that, or?
Yeah.
Seeds Coffee Shop.
I'll talk to you about it later. Mr. Clark's gonna handle that. I've already responded.
Man passed the break.
There you go.
I can believe it.
Mr. Clark will talk to
But
you.
they used to put me on the spot like that at church, and I just gave him 3 words. Heavenly Father, please. Look at
You gonna come down, you got that sit. Look at me breaking news. Just so you know.
I'll turn to, attorney.
Oh.
Attorney.
Okay.
Welcome.
This meeting is now called to order. Let us stand for invocation and pledge, please.
Please bow our heads. Our Heavenly Father, thank you for having us here today in this meeting. Please let us leave out of this meeting to make the right decisions for the city of Shreveport. Amen.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the regular scheduled public meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals of Shreveport Caddo Parish Metropolitan Planning Commission. If you wish to make public comment on an application, we have comment slips at the speaker stand next to the podium. For future notification purposes, it is very important that you fill out a slip and drop it in the box when you come forward to speak. When you come forward, please state your full name, mailing address, and zip code before addressing the board. We will call each case on the agenda in order, and hear first the MPC case manager, and from the applicant, then those speaking in favor. 10 minutes are allotted for the principal spokesperson and 3 minutes for each additional speaker. We will then hear from those wishing to speak against an application. Again, 10 minutes are allotted for the principal spokesperson and 3 minutes for each additional speaker. One representative of the application can speak in rebuttal if desired. After hearing comments on each case, the board will then immediately deliberate and vote on that case before moving on to the next case on our agenda. Please note that when the board is deliberating, members of the public are not permitted to comment. Any members of the public may request a copy of the board's decisions on a particular case by contacting our office at 318-673-6480 after 1 p.m. tomorrow, or by accessing our website at shreveportcattlenpc.com. All ZBA board decisions on cases within the city limits of Shreveport are subject to appeal to district court. All ZBA decisions on parish cases are subject to appeal to the parish commission. Please note that it is your responsibility to contact either district court or the parish administrator's office about their procedures as related to the matter you are concerned with. Copies of this document and the phone numbers to contact the governing bodies are available on the table next to the podium and in the entryway to this room. As a courtesy, please remember to turn off all cell phones while the ZBA is in session. The Zoning Board of Appeals values your testimony and appreciates your compliance with these guidelines. Okay, we all had a minute to look at the minutes of last meeting.
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Berry, second by Mr. Moss. Let us vote. And the motion carries. The first case is case number 20-19 BAC, sign variance. And case manager, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ben Moeller. I'm here with the MPC. As you stated, this is case 20-19-BAC. The applicant is Ross Stores Incorporated. The location is at 9074 Mansfield in a commercial block of buildings. The building itself is actually going to be about here on the map, although we'll be talking about two different locations here as well as over here. They are requesting two variances, one to the maximum sign area for a wall sign, as well as to allow a roof sign in a C3. Currently, roof signs are not allowed in C3 districts, although it would be an existing frame that they would be utilizing. Currently, the applicant is proposing 219 square feet of wall sign to be installed, while only 149.66 square feet are allowed based on the district guidelines. They have stated that the proposed branding would be in line with national standards for DD's Discounts as well as Ross Stores. When looking at it from a hardship as well as impact standpoint, our office did come to the conclusion that while the applicant themselves stated that a hardship was the fact that the building itself is so far from Mansfield Road, as it would make it harder to be able to see the advertising and branding, we did feel that the pole sign that is included on the site would still allow for customers to be able to see any branding that the store and advertising the store would have, while still being able to make a safe right turn off of Mansfield as well as Juella. As for the roof sign, which would be located to the north here facing onto Juella Road, we felt that this would be a chance for the board to look at the area, to look at the roof sign and be able to remove a non-conforming site element from the district at this stage without a lot of impact to the area. Although when it does come to the impact, the branding proposed by the applicant would not, or would stay in line with surrounding area. I believe there is an existing store in Aaron's that does utilize similar elements on their site. Because of this, staff has recommended denial of both variances due to a lack of hardship on the part of the applicant. Alternatively, you may approve the variance as it is, or you may go for a different wall size. I do know, and I apologize, we didn't have a long time to discuss this with the applicant before this. I was contacted a little bit before the meeting with a different set. I believe they had gone for a different set of parameters for a wall sign to discuss today that they are planning on bringing up to you. I just don't have enough information to give you guys an accurate assessment of it. Although I do believe the wall sign dimensions they have recommended would be falling more in line with our guidelines. And I'm happy to answer any questions you guys may have.
Question from the board? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is anyone speaking for case number 20-19 BAC, Ross Stores Incorporated?
Good afternoon. My name is Tom Arsenault, 333 Texas Street, Suite 700, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71101. I represent Ross Stores, who is the applicant. I did want to show you, we were working, actually, the guy that designs these signs is in California, so he's working remotely. And I had COVID-related issues that required me to be, not for me, but I was replacing people who did. So we ended up, I had to get authority to make this offer to you. So this is the, let me see. And I apologize, I printed this out just before I came. I did email it to Mr. Moeller before lunch. But this is this would be the new design. The main difference is the original design had something behind the ladies, kids, men's, and that caused the dimensions to be different. So when they removed that, it caused the sign to be within the square footage. I'm not sure about the attachment of the DD's discounts because that may end up being classified as an awning, but it looks the same, and the reason it's done this way is it's more secure than if it were attached to the building. So to the extent that we need a variance to do that, we do need to do that, but that's what it's going to look like. In your materials, we had sent a rendering. We patched together the areas, the signs in the area so that you could look at what is this going to look like. The new design will look like that. So I other than the possibility of the way that it's attached, and the owner of the building is going to be here to speak to you, other than the way that it's going to be attached, it won't look any different, and it allows this building. This building was originally an A&P, and it was built so it's rather a historical structure, and doing it differently would require altering the historical structure as it was built in 1960. So we think that that's an appropriate thing. With respect to the roof sign, this shopping center has 2 poles, and the landlord is permitting DD's to be on one pole but not on the other, and the trade-off for that was to use the existing sign that's on the north end of the building. So that's why they're trying to use that. It will be the same frame, same size, same everything that was already there. If you look in this area, there's a pretty good bit of visual clutter. This will not add to it, but the importance of having these signs for a national retailer opening its first store in Shreveport, the advantage is they really want people to be able to see where they are and how to get to their building, and this is very important to DD's. Took us a while to get the other sign approved through DD's, but they really feel that they need the view on the north side to assist people in getting to the business. And like I said, it is an existing sign. There is another roof sign next to it. So we would ask for that variance to allow DD's to put it there, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Which roof sign would DD's be replacing? The City Trends or the one to the left?
It'd be the one to the left. Yeah, City Trends is already there, and they're approximately the same size. Actually, I think this sign is a little smaller, little shorter, maybe a little longer than the City Trends.
The old
Sir?
Burks sign? It's the old Burks sign?
I don't know, Mr. Delaney's here, he'll be able to answer that. I don't know the answer, Mr. Berry.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Well, I guess that's a question for staff then. Does the proposal for the wall signs eliminate the need for that first variance or not?
And we're not totally clear exactly what's happening. It's my understanding that what Mr. Arsenault had proposed for the roof sign, if it's not any larger than the existing sign that they have, that would be acceptable. I think we had some restrictions on how much square footage could be on the wall frontage of the facility, and I don't know what numbers have changed. We may need to have an opportunity to review what's being proposed before we can actually make a recommendation to you.
The drawing that we sent has the dimensions on it, and I obviously, you haven't had it very long. I acknowledge that, but we had to review this. We got the staff report after 5 o'clock on Friday afternoon. So,
but your assertion is you believe that the redesign meets the parameters for the first variance.
yes, sir.
So we might only be looking at the roof sign.
Yes, sir. And to the extent we might need one, we'd love for you to approve this so that they can go forward to try and get open.
Anyone else?
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
What is their proposed open date?
Sir,
What is their proposed open date?
I think it's late 2021 currently. That's partially dependent on what happens with the masks and the economy. But
So next fall.
yes, sir.
Okay.
And I'm going from rough memory, but I'm pretty. It had originally had an earlier start than that, and the circumstances of 2020 pushed it back.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Super. I will fill out a
Thank
slip.
you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else speaking for case number 20-19-BAC?
Yes, my name is Matt Delaney, 1410 Hahn Avenue, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71107. I'm currently the manager of the shopping center. We've owned it for decades and then sold it, but I'm still running it. That particular store was an A&P when I started there. It moved on to be a Best Buy. That's when the signs were put up on the end of the TG&Y. The first sign that was for Burke's the last time. It was installed for them before Big Lots came in. Big Lots came in and put their mark on the other sign back in 1985. So those signs had been existing, and they're even part of the roof the way it's done right now. So they came in and I told them that they could have basically what was there. The A&P sign was originally designed with the grocery store on the left-hand side and established 1895 over on the right-hand side. So they're using all the original width and square footage of the original sign. This sign that he's proposing now is smaller than what the A&P sign was originally. But what we've been trying to do is avoid everybody wanting to put McElroy metal all the way around the building and square it and just throw that up there when this piece of architecture is so nice. And if you look at it from the inside, the front deck for supporting has 25 I-beams that come in 15 feet that are welded to a permanent structure. There's nothing about the front end of that thing that you couldn't park a car on. So I didn't see a problem with it because they were asking to go back to the original sign that was on the building. Things have changed out there, but this place has been vacant for over a year and I haven't had a phone call on it, and I got this deal worked out with them, and 7-Eleven-18's taken a pretty big hit. We don't have South Park Mall anymore, so this is one of the two primary shopping centers that everybody's running with. National tenants are what all of a zip code lives on, and all zip codes real estate dies when the national tenants won't open up their anchors anymore. And every center that doesn't have an anchor is in ill repair. This right here, we need this anchor real bad because we've been dedicated to 7-Eleven-18 for decades, so I hope that you can do it.
I have a question. So the pole signs that Mr. Arsenault indicated, is that the Family Dollar pole sign?
No, the pole sign that they're referring to is the main marquee out front that was originally a Southside Village sign in 1960.
Right.
And then we put the boxes on it with the individual box for each one going up
Right.
back in about 1982.
But he indicated there were two pole signs, that they were
The
only allowed to
second
be
pole
on.
sign has Big Lots, it has Aaron's and City Trends and Family Dollar on it. It only has room for 3 signs.
that's
So
the
they
Family
came back
Dollar-
in and said that they wanted that sign that Burke's did have. We had painted it black so it would look better, but that is an existing sign that's been there since '82.
Right, so the Family Dollar, the Aaron's, and I can't read the rest of it, there were 4 spots on that tall pole sign.
That particular sign is full. Daiquiri Express is on the bottom.
Daiquiri Express, okay.
So we have the one sign that's out on the main street, which is
So-
in front of,
right.
you know, where the barbecue place is on the front corner?
So the
It
reason.
used to be Red Lobster.
The reason they're not allowed to have is because there's no room for it.
Right.
Okay,
It won't, the wind load won't allow them to be on the pole. So that's why these 2 signs were put up a long time ago, is that I have more nationals than I have room on the sign. And they won't tolerate moving to a center without being on the sign, but the wind load won't take another one. So that's why those 2 were installed back in the 80s on that corner,
okay.
and they're still being requested.
Anything else on the board?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
it may be helpful to if you got the square footage that is being proposed now, compared to what's in the staff report, it may make your decision easier if it's significantly less now than it was. It might give you a better opportunity to make a determination.
Okay. Sir, do you have the proposed measurements for the new sign?
If I may,
You'll have to call him back.
I have already spoken, but I can
Yeah.
answer your question.
Can he go ahead?
He doesn't have the drawing. He's the landlord. I have the drawing. I represent the person who's gonna install the
Okay.
sign.
Mr. Arsenault, go ahead.
The new drawing showed there is, I think that there's 149, roughly 149 square feet that is permitted, and the new sign will have 138, so it's underneath.
So it's under.
Good. All right, thank you, sir. All right, any other questions from the board?
I will point out, that's the original A&P sign, which is over 240 square feet. That's what the thing was built for originally, that they were replacing. That's why their sign was originally the size it was. They reduced it for your new requirements, but I simply gave them a picture and said, do what A&P did. So it just seemed reasonable that if the building was built with the weld points and everything set up for that, that's why it was there.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, is there anyone else speaking for case number 20-19-BAC? Is anyone speaking against case number 20-19-BAC? All right, there are none. Is there a motion?
I move to separate the 2 variances for voting purposes into 2 votes.
And then a motion.
Second.
A second.
Okay, it's been moved by Mr. Berry, second by Mr. Mouse, that we separate the variances. Let's vote. And the motion carries. Okay, first variance.
Well, I guess I want clarification from staff is if it, in fact, is the square footage is 136, what's the best course of action for this variance so that we don't approve something that is not in writing? Is it to request that it be withdrawn, or?
I think if you, since what they have presented is in compliance if you deny the variance.
Okay.
That
I
takes
just wanna-
care of that situation.
Procedurally, I want to make sure we do the right thing so we don't get caught up later. So I move to deny the variance, let's see what the wording is, pardon me, to deny the variance for the square footage on the front of the building, the sign on the front of the building.
Second.
Okay, it's moved by Mr. Berry, second by Mr. Moss, of denial of the first variance. Let's vote. And the motion carries. Do we have a new motion?
And I think in light of the adjustments that have been made, the staff would recommend you approve the variance for the roof sign.
Yeah, I mean, for purpose of discussion, I will make a motion to approve the second variance, which is the variance pertaining to the roof sign.
Okay, second.
It's been moved by Mr. Berry, second by Mr. Moss. Let us vote.
Well, I just would like to make a comment on the record that, I mean, there is a lot of visual clutter in that area. So there, I guess two schools of thought is, one, take every opportunity you can to start eliminating that. However, the removal of that sign is not going to go a long way to affect the reduction of the clutter. And given that it's not being enlarged, I guess, and the fact that they were amenable enough to work to reduce the front square footage is the reason I'm going to go along with it. But I do want to go on record that I am typically in favor of, at every opportunity presented to us, to get rid of non-conforming signs.
Thank you, sir. Let's vote. And the motion carries. Next case, case number 20-6-BAP. Applicant's Chris Holloway. Mr. Bailey.
Hello, everyone. This is 20-6- my name is Ben Moeller. I'm with the MPC. This is 20-6-BAP. The applicant is Chris Holloway. The location is 2664 Emerald Isle, and they're requesting a variance to allow for a home to be built 5 feet into a 10-foot setback required by the Shreveport UDC in an R17 single-family residential. As you can see from the image here, the lot itself is kind of a strange shape. It is built onto the Cross Lake watershed, which is what's requiring that 10-foot setback to the land. The applicant has stated that should they be required to build into the setbacks that are currently there, the house would be too narrow to make it easily livable. If you don't mind going to the site plan that was included in there, you'll see as well that as of right now, the house is built, and I think it's a little hard to read, but you'll see that the setbacks there are both 5 feet with a 25-foot width. If you were to build into the setbacks, or I apologize, if you were to build to the 10-foot requirement, that would only give 15 feet wide of house to work with, which would be a very small home to live in. When looking at it from both a hardship as well as an impact statement, we did find the fact that the lot itself is just such a unique and strange shape with the lot topography that it does warrant a hardship on the applicant. As well, when looking at the impact for the area, we did find that due to the location of the site, it is back off of Lakeshore Drive, kind of up a bit. It's far away from any passing traffic that would be seeing it. It's screened by trees. I believe it's a little bit set aside from its neighbors in the area, and so the impact would be very minimal if it were to be built onto these setbacks. With that being said, our recommendation as staff is to approve the variance. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions on the board? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is anyone speaking for case number 20-6-BAP?
Hello, Chris Holloway, 2664 Emerald Isle, Shreveport, 71119. Yes, sir, I'm happy to answer any questions, but that was pretty much stated everything accurately. We're requesting the variance to build the new structure with a 5-foot setback instead of the required 10-foot setback.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
Is anyone else speaking for case number 20-6-BAP? Is anyone speaking against case number 20-6-BAP? And there are none. Anything? I hear a motion from the board.
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Moss, second by Mr. Farrell. Let us vote. And the motion carries. Next case, case number 20-17-BAC. The applicant is Mr. Chaz Coleman.
Good afternoon. I'm Lee Ayers. I'm standing in. I work with Chaz Coleman. I'm standing in for him. He's in a trial in Judge Marcotte's courtroom today, this afternoon, and tomorrow. And so I'm here. My name, again, is Lee Ayers, 333 Texas Street, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71101, the 14th floor, 333 Texas Street. I'm here on behalf of Mr. Brent Roberts and Brent Roberts Landscape and Design Incorporated. I have good news for the board, which is that this appeal has been resolved. In the process of that, I would like to take just a moment of your time. I know y'all's time is valuable. I want to take just a moment of your time to thank Mr. Alan Clark, Mr. Adam Bailey, Mr. Reginald Jordan. Their professionalism and hard work is to be commended, and I'm very, very appreciative of everything they did to move this matter along. It's like Mr. Clark and I were talking about, when you talk and you communicate, you'd be surprised what you can work out, and so I really appreciate their willingness to work with us and their hard work and professionalism. Just so y'all know, just sort of kind of complete the record on this, we were back here on November 18th, and I just want to go through just 1 minute. The background is that Mr. Roberts received a notice of violation from the MPC by letter dated August 24 of 2020. The violations at that time in that notice letter were four. And number one, not having a home-based business certificate of occupancy. Number two, advertising online. 3, storing commercial equipment on the property. 4, storing plants on the property. Mr. Roberts and his company timely appealed that ruling to y'all, to the ZBA. Mr. Adam Bailey then issued a staff report. In his staff report, he found no violation with respect to advertising online, insufficient evidence with respect to keeping plants on the property, whether or not that would be a violation. And he also, thirdly, he found no violation of equipment on the property. But he did believe that a certificate of a home-based business certificate of occupancy was required, and my client did not have such. So that was the issue before the court on November 18th, before the panel on November 18th. That was the issue, was that one singular issue about whether or not a home-based business certificate of occupancy was required. And that issue, after being discussed on November 18th, was tabled till today. In the meanwhile, Mr. Alan Clark and Mr. Jordan were, as I noted, were extremely helpful. In cooperation with them, Mr. Roberts and his company applied for and received the home-based business certificate of occupancy. That was issued this past Monday on December the 14th. It expires December the 14th of 2022, which moots this appeal. So on behalf of Mr. Roberts and his company, I want to thank y'all for your time and for your diligence. And again, I want to thank the staff for everything they've done to help us reach a resolution.
All right, thanks, sir.
I didn't know if y'all had any questions or if anything I could do further.
Any questions from the board? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank
Mr. Chair, before Mr. Harris leaves, we had asked that they do a formal request to withdraw the appeal.
Yeah.
And
Thank
you
you,
can
Mr.
approve that.
Yes, thank you. We would at this time make a formal request to withdraw the appeal in light of the resolution.
All right, thank you, sir. Do a motion?
I have a motion to withdraw the appeal.
That's second.
It's been moved by Mr. Moss, second by Ms. Dunn. Let's vote. And the motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank y'all. Y'all have a Merry Christmas.
You too,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Okay, this brings us to the end of our public hearing. Any old business? Nominating committee, you guys, you did not get a chance to?
Yeah, we've not gotten a chance to formally meet. So I would like to make a motion to keep the current slate of officers until the next January meeting.
January 2022?
January, well, we could do either way, January 2022, yes.
That's a year and a month.
No,
No, I'm sorry, 2021.
2021.
We're in 2020.
Okay. All right,
Just give us time until next month
okay,
to get together.
all right. Y'all, we going to get together this time? Or just-
As long as Ms. Pearson shows up.
Okay. All right. Is the motion, is there a second?
I second it.
Okay, been moved by Mr. Farrell, second by Ms. Dunn. Let us vote. And the motion carries. All right, new business. I see this research as a bullet point.
We really, I shared with you on yesterday that we had come up with some new applications that are tracking up. They were recommended by the MPC board, and they'll have to be approved by the city council. But to establish a approval that we had in the previous ordinance, a special exception use approval, and we've initiated them again in order to allow citizens to apply for mobile homes, and they will also regulate the transient vacation rental homes in residential areas. We don't have any information for you at this point. We're just waiting to see what the city council will do, and then we will unveil all of the information about the criteria for those two approvals.
All right, thank you, sir. Do you have a report for us today?
I think that you all are extremely special because we have the deputy director, the deputy parish attorney, and the deputy city attorney here to give us legal advice, although they were extremely quiet. They listened to me once for one time. But we are very fortunate to have them. We thank them for coming because they keep us out of trouble. They make sure that everything we do is legal and in order. Like I shared with you yesterday, we encourage you to participate, in the pre-brief meetings because we are in the process of changing our process. In the pre-briefing meetings, the planners will come to you and dissect and give you in-depth information about cases so that you would have all the background information when you come to this meeting today. When we get to this meeting today, the planner will only introduce the case, and if the applicant has comments, then the applicant will have the ability to express those comments. I think that we were sort of denying the applicant an opportunity to express any thoughts that they had about their application. So feel like this will be a much better approach, that we just introduce the case and brief you the day before and let the applicant go into detailed discussions about their case, because they still know more about their case than we know. And with that, we'd just like to wish each and every one of you and a very Merry Christmas, a very safe Christmas. It's been a very challenging year, but we've gotten through this year, and we thank you for all the service that you provided during this year, and we look forward to seeing you in 2021.
Thank you, sir. And the same to you.
Thank you.
All right. We're at public comments. There's no public here right now. Would the attorneys like to say a word or two before we adjourn? Thank you very much. Any comments from the board?
Just everybody have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I look forward to seeing you guys next month.
Thank you, Mr. Moss. Anyone else? All right, nothing else. We are adjourned.
Thank you so much. So happy.
We're so intimidating that we just sat back.
Just sit there quietly.
Is that on me?
Shut up, don't sit there.